All right, we're recording and opening the waiting room. Hello, hello, everybody. Hello. All right, hi, everybody. We're going to get started. We do have a presentation first, and then we're going to have a Q&A. So if you're able to mute yourself for now, and then later we'll have a Q&A, and you're welcome to unmute then. Okay, so as always, if you haven't registered for STEP, we kindly ask that you do. And the QR code is here, but you can also register yourself at step.ucsd.edu. It's helpful for us to know and keep track of everybody who's registered for the program. And we also have an in-person event. And so that's also the way that you want to RSVP for it is through STEP registration. And then we're almost at the second half. We're at the second half of STEP. And so we do have some transfer talks left. Today is August 5th, and we'll do transfer time. But these are the rest of the topics for the rest of the summer, which is crazy that we started in May. And now, yeah, we have a few transfer talks left. Same for Transfers Connect. These are the last sessions of the summer. Next, we have transfers with dependents. So if you're a caretaker of a child or parent, family member, and want to meet others who are also, you can join Transfers with Dependents. And then later this month, we have Who is Here to Help. We have a virtual version, and then we have an in-person version. So definitely make sure that you're registered for STEP and your CP for the in-person if you are interested in other transfers in person, and we'll have food. And then this is like what we have coming up in STEP. And so this Friday, we have a resume workshop. Next Wednesday, we have undocumented mixed status services, and you can meet their staff and learn about the resources that they have. And then August 13th, we'll have that Transfers Connect for students with dependents. And so we still have a good lineup happening. And then for research and involvement series, we have also some great webinars or meetings that are coming up, resume workshop, and up until, yeah, the end of August for the rest of this month. All right, and then we do have transfer peer coaches available to meet this summer, and we'll have more once fall quarter starts. But all our peer coaches have completed at least 3 full quarters at UCSD, and they have been trained to help answer any questions that you might have. And they're trained on resources, and if they don't know the answer to your question, they'll do their best to also refer you to whatever appropriate resource there is. And we are halfway through STEP. So we have our midpoint survey open. Takes about a couple minutes to fill it out. You must be registered for STEP to be eligible. If you take the midpoint survey and we don't see you on the STEP registration list, you won't be eligible to win any of these great prizes, AirPods, sweaters, or Hydro Flask. And we will close this midpoint survey this Friday by midnight. All right, and I'll leave it there for a second if anybody needs that QR code. All right. And then today we have transfer time, drop-ins with staff, and I'm just gonna do a little switch over to another presentation. And so we do have some presentation for you. Oop. Let me remove that. Okay. And with that, I will hand it over to Jay.
Yes, so thanks, Elizabeth. My name is Jay. I'm a peer coach here, and we're going to do a quick overview of course planning and things like that. I believe we have a quick disclaimer. Tessa, if
Yes,
you want to give that.
I'm here. I did just want to pop in. Hi, everyone. My name is Tessa. I'm the Assistant Director of the Transfer Hub. Um, One thing I wanted to mention before hopping into this presentation is that we are in a year of newness. You might have heard a lot about this new TSS system and how folks are registering for classes. So our goal today is to help you learn about the tools that are available for how to sign up to classes, make sure that you know where to go because this has been our most asked question. We also have Q&A of just more general UCSD questions after. But as we're going into this brief presentation, know that the students who are here are also learning this process. So things are new to us. This was all just launched in the past few weeks. So we are doing our best to guide you to the things that we're still learning as well. So there might be questions that come up that we don't know how to answer, but our hope here is that we're making you feel a little bit more settled, knowing that course registration is coming up. And then we also have room for other questions. This is not all just a course registration presentation, but with that, I'll pass over to our wonderful peer coaches.
Cool. Okay. Thank you, Tessa. I appreciate that. So yeah, moving forward, we're gonna go over course planning and things like that to help you get ready as the quarter starts. So next couple slides, Elizabeth. So yeah, next one after. Thank you. So the first thing to start is like how to where to register classes and when do you do it, right? So that's a very important thing as you start registering later on this month. So the first place to go is to TSS. Next slide. How to get there is you simply access this link that I'll put in the chat. And you access that. You just go to the first link right there, sis.ucc.edu. Once you get there, next slide. Once you get there, you will see that you have first and second pass. So this is a new system here at UCSD where you have two enrollment time windows with each pass open for 48 hours. The first pass, you register for 11.5 units, which is roughly 2 to 3 classes, and you can't waitlist courses in this first pass. For the second pass, you enroll and waitlist up to 19.5 courses, and just for your own reference, you have to be a full-time student to take 12 units. So the next slide, you'll see how to access your first and second pass. You go to the appointment times. Once you see TSS, it'll be on the left-hand side right there. After you click on that on the right-hand side, you'll see the first and second pass right there. And then just a small note, once you click on the appointment times on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, you'll have 2-second passes. It's a little weird, but the reason why it's there is essentially is that the final second pass is for any final enrollment changes you may have to take, courses change and things like that, your schedule changes. So that's just, you'll be confused when you see it, but that's what it looks like. And the next slide. You're going to want to, so after that, you're going to wonder what classes you want to take, right? So will your class may look low and things like that. So next slide. Essentially what you'll see, and this is a great place to go, it'll be plans.ucsd.edu. You can filter it by college, by your academic year, your major, and you can select transfer plan. So this is a great resource to use. It's not an actual of what you'll be able to take, it's just serving as a template of what your course will look like for the next 2 years. The link is right there in the chat. Tessa just provided it. And the next slide will give you more of a gauge of what it'll look like. This is just kind of a rough guide, again, a template of what your class flow will look like for the next 2 years. It's a great resource to use to kind of plan out your schedule before your first quarter, especially. I use this myself, along with the other peer coaches use this as well. So this is what it looks like. Yeah, and make sure you select transfer plan when you go on this as well. And then we'll pass off to Narangu for next.
Yeah, so as you're planning for courses, it's useful to look at the course catalog page. So here you can see like the what classes there are, like the units of classes on the right side. So we have the upper division chemistry classes listed up here. You can read about like what it's about, like what are you exactly doing in a class. So uh, like important information that you need to schedule your classes. And also you can see prerequisites here as well if you need a class prior to taking, let's say, Chem 100A. So yeah, it's just useful for you to like look at the classes and what classes you may be taking. And then on the left side, you can see majors and minors, and that's where you go on and see like how many units and the requirements and overall required classes you need in your 2-year plan. Next. So yes, similar thing, like going more into it. So once you're on the, let's say, chemistry department, that's your major, you're able to see course offerings. So you can see 2026 to 2027 academic course offerings, and you can also see like who's teaching as well, which is very useful. You can like research the classes and like who's like the professors and like the professor who's teaching the classes. So yeah, it's very useful overall just to get yourself familiarized with the classes and what classes you may be taking in the future. Next. So yeah, here's a useful link that will direct you to all the course catalog page and tentative course offerings by your specific department. Okay. Think um there's the set evaluations. So basically, it is a useful information as well, in addition to looking at the courses and your professors. So set evaluations is where students every quarter they um, basically write about their professors, like review kind of. You write about the classes, like what you did and the grades you've gotten. So basically, you're reviewing your professor or your TA, and it's just useful information for you to look at and see how many hours you may be spending in that class and the data on grades. Just overall, pretty useful in planning your classes in the future. And there's a link as well as the QR code. Okay. Next. So yeah, this is how they look like. So you see all the data, like what grades they received, the courses, and basically very statistical information that you may need, like their class average. Yeah, very useful. And you can see the instructor. Yeah. So yeah, going into the class schedule, there has been a lot of changes with the deadlines and when you can register for classes. So this is very up to date for incoming transfer students. You can start registering for classes beginning in August 31st. Next. Okay, so first thing you go onto is the TSS website, your homepage. You'll see a schedule of classes. And from there, you're able to write out your class name. So let's say on the right side, I put Chem. So you see a list of the classes that are being offered in the 2026-2027 quarter academic year. And you can play with the filter system on the right side, like upper division courses, location, and instructor as well. But yeah, this is where you basically check to see if the courses that you want to take are being offered in that quarter. Next. So here's a very useful tool that you can use to plan your classes. This is a class planner. This is not part of the TSS, but will direct you to TSS once you're ready to book for your classes. So how planner works is that there are two options. You auto plan or you do manual planning. Auto planning is basically based on the information you provided. It'll give you like a good compatible schedule with all the classes um, you entered in. And then manual planning is you manually actually putting in that specific section, specific classes during this time to this time. So yeah, you're doing your manual work basically. So here's the link as well as the QR code. I find it useful. This is where you can see like full-on calendar view of the classes you'll see in the next slides. So yeah, as I was saying, you can search up the course. So I put Chem 109, a lab course, so it pops up. It should be reflective of what TSS is like saying on their website, so you should be able to see it as well. So yeah, search up the classes. Next. So this is what I was saying. You can see a full-on calendar view of, let's say you're taking two or three, okay, three classes. You'll see all of the classes on there in one view and see if there's any conflicts, and very useful. Um, you can see like what time to what time, humanities, 100, chem, OChem. So very useful in terms of looking at a overall schedule view. Next. Before I go, so can you go back? Yeah. So you see a blue button right there to continue to TSS. This is where it will direct you to TSS, and you can do the booking or registering classes. Next. So overall planning classes, you basically sign into TSS, open the course from your saved schedule, so from your class planner, and check the courses and the sections you have planned. And then where you saw that booking in the blue, choose go to booking, and then you're able to book, meaning you're registering for your classes. And then you can return to Class Planner and open the next courses. So here's a disclaimer. You do not register for classes in Class Planner. The Class Planner does not enroll you. So don't think like, oh, okay, looks like my calendar's full, looks like I registered. No, it's not. It's a useful tool for you to look at your classes in one calendar view.
It's
So
like
yeah.
your shopping cart, but you haven't checked out quite yet.
Yes, basically. So you'll be booking or actually purchasing or booking your classes in TSS. So yeah, there it is. Going back to the TSS main page, schedule of classes on the left-hand side. This is where we started off from. And then you put in that class name and you see the class that you want to enroll in. So let's say, oh, the class planner had this specific section. You can see Chem 116P001. This was the section that looked perfectly fitting in my planner. So you go on to go to booking. Yeah. And Joe?
Okay, so that brings us to the Virtual Advising Center walkthrough. The way you guys can access this will be through the Triton student system. So in that second column down at the bottom, you can click on Virtual Advising Center. We also have this QR code for you. If you'd like to scan it, it'll get you directly there as well. And then there's the hyperlink vac.ucsd.edu will get you to this place as well. Next slide. Next slide, please. Thank you. So once you get to the Virtual Advising Center, there's that blue column on the left-hand side. You can click on Ask a Question. So this will allow you to direct messages to academic advisors. You have an academic advisor for your college, and you have another academic advisor for your major. So when you're looking at those sample plans, if you have already built your schedule, this is a good place to ask them if the schedule that you have will be good. If the workload is good, ask them for any advice or feedback on there. If you haven't yet checked the sample plans, you can also write them a message like, hello, I'm an incoming transfer student for the fall. Can you give me course recommendations? And so you'd send that message to your college advisor as well as your major department advisor. And then you can click that blue button that says submit question, and they will get back to you in the virtual advising center as well.
One
Next
thing,
slide.
Joe, I want to highlight that you mentioned when you're
Uh-huh.
sending these messages, this isn't going to like an AI bot. We have the Triton GPT, and that's doing more of like AI and questions there. But VAC is actually connecting you to your entire um, academic advising department and everyone there. And if there's questions that can't be answered at the level of an academic advisor, this is also where deans and assistant deans of academic advising will have communications with you. So this is real people behind these messages. It's essentially an email, but it's a way of sending an email both to your major and to your college. So that's something that a lot of students are like, "Oh, well, I want to meet with somebody." This is you connecting with advisors here directly.
Yeah, thank you for that. Next slide, please.
We did have a hand up as well. Derek, was the question on one of the slides we were just on, or is it something we can wait for the end? If we need to re-clarify, we can do that.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'll let you figure it out. Sorry.
Okay, no
Yeah.
worries. So then we'll hop into some of the best practices. Next slide, please. So our advice for you is to set an alarm 5 minutes before your first and second pass enrollment. It's really critical to enroll in your courses the minute that your window opens because the availability for classes can change within the minute. And so our second piece of advice would be to pick 2 to 3 backup classes in case the ones you want fill up during enrollment. It was very common for me to have to choose 2 alternate classes. But again, it's nice to have those on standby so that you're not scrambling to find other courses if the ones that you want fill up. Our third piece of advice is to check the student evaluations of teaching. So for each class, you can find them. Like I said, or like Narangru mentioned, it's very important to look at the workload, the average amount of hours worked per week outside of class, and then the average grade in the class as well. And then small class sizes fill up quickly. This can be especially true for lab classes, which are normally anywhere from 25 to 30 students versus our bigger lectures that are 300 to 400 students. So you can imagine you want to prioritize those smaller lab classes or classes that have smaller class sizes in your first pass if you want to prioritize it. Next slide. And then, so for course planning, you must register for at least 8 units in your first pass. You cannot waitlist any courses in your first pass as well. That's worth mentioning. And then to meet your financial aid minimum, you need at least 12 units, and you have to be enrolled in those 12 units after your second pass. Waitlisting does not count towards that. And then if you were on the wait list, you will likely get off of the wait list if you were in the top 10%, but that might not be super applicable to smaller class sizes like lab classes. This is more generally towards the bigger lecture courses that may have like 300, 400 students in them. Next slide. And then, so for planning for classes, you should incorporate the enrollment resources and tools wisely. So you should pay special attention to the course description, any prerequisites that they may have, how many credit hours, and learning outcomes and skills emphasized, especially for electives. It would Current students or peer coaches can give you advice. We have peer coaches here, and we normally try and pair you with the peer coach that is your same major if they're available. So a lot of times we can recommend certain instructors or tell you what the workload was for certain classes. Other things you can chat about are grading policies or any support offered, and general tips for succeeding in the course. And then lastly, we advise you to make sure to balance out your schedule. Next slide, please.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, peer coaches. Yeah, like Joe said, if anybody's interested in booking with a peer coach, we have that QR code here again, and it's also on our website. So yeah, thank you all. I think these are great tools. Um, So we're going to transition into a panel in just a bit. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to do general panel. Doesn't have to be about the presentation. We do have the chat disabled, but you can use the Q&A features. So it helps us kind of stay organized with questions. And it's on your toolbar. If it's not there, then if you go to the three dots that say more, the Q&A should be there, that option. So I'm just going to share my screen or stop sharing my screen, I should say. But yeah, and then we'll get started with a panel. We'll start with some intros and then maybe that'll give some people some time to ask a question or on the Q&A. So I'll go ahead and start and then I'll popcorn over to somebody else. But my name is Elizabeth Vasquez. I am full-time staff at the Transfer Hub. I'm the research and involvement coordinator. So you'll see me on those Friday sessions. In this Friday's session as well. And I'll popcorn over to Tessa.
Hi everyone, my name is Tessa Benedict Phillip. I'm the assistant director here at the Triton Transfer Hub. I'm less student facing in my role, but I've been in the Transfer Hub for 4 years. So if there's questions that folks have, I'm always happy to step in and help. Sometimes if you get stumped in a peer coach meetings, I am there to pop in and support where I can. And I'm going to pass popcorn to Joe.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joseph Musako. My pronouns are he, him. I recently graduated, but my major was human biology, and I'm also pre-med. And then I also live off campus, and I was a commuter student as well. So I will popcorn over to Jay.
Hey everybody, my name is Jay Gima, pronouns are he, him. I'm a political science major, going to be senior next year, transferred from Yale Valley College in the Bay Area. And I currently live on campus, River Canyon West, and so I can answer any questions regarding things like that. And I'll popcorn to Narango.
Hi everyone, my name is Narango. Pronouns are she, her, hers. My major is biochemistry, also pre-med as well. And I transferred from Napa Valley College from Napa, and I'm a commuter. And I'll popcorn to Rian.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rion Fernandez, he, him. I'm also a recent UNC like Joe. I recently graduated this spring and I was a political science major. I transferred from Southwestern College in Chula Vista and I also was a commuter student. So for the past 2 years that I've been here, I have either parked on campus or I have used the public transit. So if you have any questions that pertain to any of those, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Yeah, any questions? It doesn't have to be about classes. I also want to, again, give another disclaimer in case we had new folks since, but the Transfer Hub, we will do our best to answer any of your questions, but unfortunately we can't answer any admissions related questions or we're also not academic advisors, but again, we will do our best to answer generally any questions that you might have or where you can ask that too. So we'll just wanted to give that as well. Okay, I'll start with one question, which is, how can we view our PID/TSN? Anybody want to take that question?
Yes, so on TSS, you will see your information. Like for me, I saw my name, my address, and then it also says like TSN number right next to you. And that's a good way to find that.
Would applicant portal also be a place you can see that too? Right. Okay. Yeah, so I think your applicant portal where you got your admission notice would probably be another place you can check for that as well. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go kind of look through these. Um, there's a question that's what are the best tips for the ones that are driving? Is parking good at UCSD? What are the best times to find parking? I see some smiles. Who wants to take it?
All right, I got it, Joe. So to answer a couple parts of those questions. Parking is not great on UCSG's campus, and they fill up very quickly. A lot of people will try to get here early for 8 a.m. classes, which means most of the time the parking structures that have passes available to you will be full by, I would say, around 7 a.m., if not earlier. So I would recommend getting here early because after those times, it's not guaranteed that you're going to find parking. You might get lucky, and there might be some people that are coming out as the courses end or as the class times end. So around like the but like 12:30, 1:30, so the 30s or the 50s. But if you want to guarantee that you're going to get parking, you're probably going to want to get here before 5. 5 a.m. safe, 6 a.m. is kind of pushing it, and then 7 a.m. it's probably full or going to be difficult to find stuff. But like I mentioned, there are different strategies to mitigate that. Like I mentioned, public transit, which you get for free through the Triton U Pass. You're able to park at trolley and bus stations that have free parking. For example, what I do is I park at Nobel Drive, which is a trolley station that has a specific parking structure for people who use the trolley. And then there's a specific station on the trolley, UC Central Campus, UCSD Central Campus Station, that takes you directly to campus. So you're able to park for free and then get to campus for free as well, while also having access to your car.
Awesome.
Could I also just add a little bit?
Go for
Um,
it.
I think it's nice for commuter students. You should really just plan on being here like the whole day. It's a lot more efficient to like bring your food. We have a refrigerator here, and there's places on campus to keep your food cold. If you want to meal prep and have that here too. But yeah, I would plan basically the whole day, basically doing your classes and in between classes, going to the library or eating your food and just planning for like a full day.
Nice. Awesome. Um, Tessa, did you want to answer about motorcycle parking, or was that just like general with parking?
I was including that generally with parking, but there is motorcycle parking all over campus. I was just earmarking all our parking questions together. But also that in that question that brings up a good point is near Muir College. Just because you're accepted into a college doesn't mean that that's necessarily where most of your classes are going to be. So I wanted to just make sure that that was mentioned in that answer.
Okay. What is one thing that you knew before starting classes at UCSD?
I can take this one. I think one thing I knew is because I'm coming from a community college, I knew to balance out my schedule. So I knew to take less classes from my friends. Definitely take less classes your first course. You can adjust and find a whole new system because you are transferring to just a new school and things like that, and maybe want to start clubs, things like that. So definitely try and balance out your schedule early on so that we have good study habits moving forward. That's something I knew going in and it was helpful knowledge for sure.
Thanks. And Jay, will I have you? There is another question that wanted a clarification on, they didn't catch the answer to the question of why they might see two dates for second pass enrollment.
Yeah, and also another one of the peer coaches can back me up, can help me out on this as well. But I think there's 2 second passes because the final second pass, I should say, is just in case you have any schedule changes you may need to have or any final classes that may need additional enrollment. Just things like that. Also, you can check on final wait list things. Let's say on your wait list, and let's say you wanted to maybe get onto it, maybe you can finally register during the quarter. Anybody else wants to chime in, you can feel free to chime in. But I believe that's the reason why there's 2 second passes. It's also new for us, but yeah.
It's so I'll explain it in a different way because you're doing a good job. I'm gonna just say it slightly differently. That almost I wouldn't even think of that second pass necessarily as a second pass. That's just how it's reflecting in the system. Your first pass and second pass will go by, and then if you're someone who wants to add additional units beyond just those two passes, or you want to change things up, the pass system is created so that not someone can't just go and hoard all the spots. So you're getting a chance to get a few classes, next group gets a chance to get another classes, and then it will open for everyone again and stay open until the add drop deadline. So that second pass is really that like period of anyone getting to go back in and make changes and add. It's also a time where at the second pass, you can only add up to, is it 18 units? I don't remember my numbers.
I think it's 19.5.
Yeah, 19.
19.5. So potentially you could add additional units then. We really strongly do not recommend in your first quarter that you go above that. But that's kind of your window reopening where you can do any of those changes long term that are outside of your first and second pass window. They just didn't have my understanding is that it's just a year reopen window, how it used to be in the old system as well.
All right. Um, Another question is, can transfers double major? Who would like to answer that?
I can take it.
Thank you,
So
Noreen.
yes, you can double major as a transfer student, but the thing is that you have to go through, like make sure you talk with an advisor and see if the load is like good fitting for you, like just go through all the classes you need, and it is like a lot to, double major, so make sure you talk with your advisor on that. Yeah. So yes, you can.
All right, so something like reaching out to advisors.
Yeah, I think to add on, I'll send a link here too, but there is a website on the advising website that talks about double majors and has a huge list of everything that you'd want to consider and the roadmap for how to put in the petition to double major because you do need to put in a petition for that and both major departments must approve the petition along with your college before you can start double majoring and pursuing that. And they also recommend taking minors because double majoring means that you're taking more units because you're trying to fulfill two. So that is also one of the recommendations that they put on this website as well. But I'll send that in the chat in a second.
All right, thank you. Um, Best budget for off-campus housing, or maybe I can reframe it in like um resources for off-campus housing, maybe.
But there's a Facebook group that's open. It's like UCSD off-campus housing, and a lot of the different listings are either like people looking for roommates, like UCSD students looking for roommates, or there are people that are looking for UCSD students to move into their house and like rent out a room. So that would be a good place to look first. There's, I think, a couple different groups that are all centered around UCSD off-campus housing, and they'll all pop up by searching that in the Facebook search bar. And I can also look for a link for it too.
Yes, thank you. It is for anonymous, but it'll be in the answer if you want to give that link. There's a couple of questions on um, meeting with advisors. When can incoming students meet with an advisor starting? Anybody want to talk about that?
Normally, like generally, you can't start meeting with an advisor until like week 4 of fall quarter. That's very general. What we do have is we have a spreadsheet and it breaks down either the different colleges or your different majors, and it gives like notes on when drop-in advising is available. So I know there is like some drop-in advising depending on the major that can happen mid-August. So I will also drop that spreadsheet in the chat, and you guys can look specifically at your major and your college and see when those advising is becomes available.
All right, awesome. There's one for you, Rion. Somebody said, where was that parking structure you mentioned earlier? Maybe you can put that name in the chat?
Oh, yes. If they're referring to the one that's off campus for the transit, it is Nobel Drive Station, and you can type that into Apple Maps or Google Maps. It will give you the location of the trolley station, and right next to the tracks is the parking structure. But I can also find a specific address if that is needed as well. I'll put that in the chat too.
What does instruction session enrollment mean? Instruction session enrollment?
Yeah, I can answer it. So this is basically open enrollment period that begins once the quarters, like the instruction starts. So you should be able to start enrolling into your classes and like Jay was saying, like the maximum unit um, limit for first and second passes, and yeah, basically enrollment periods beginning, instruction starting. If that makes sense, or if anyone wanna add on to it, yeah.
All right, thank you. Great. How hard is it to take 16 units at UCSD for a STEM major? For our STEM majors, have you done this?
It's definitely challenging, and you can book a peer coaching appointment with us, and we can look more at like your major and whether you already have IGETC, and what your plans are. But we would it's definitely challenging. I took 16 units and I took 4 biology courses. They recommend only taking 3 biology courses in a quarter. So I that's where the student evaluations and teaching, um, of teaching will come in handy. If you can maybe if you're set on taking 16 units your first quarter, then you can try and look for lower workload courses to kind of stack, for that 16 units instead of, all like heavier workload courses. But definitely, I think it'd be nice to book a peer coaching appointment, and we can look more at your specific circumstances.
Thanks.
I think also to go back to a previous question about finding off-campus housing, UCSD also has its own off-campus housing website where you're able to look, I believe, at listings, and it will give you resources on how to find places to stay, roommates, and other general resources on the website that they have. And I will put that in the chat as well.
Thank you. Okay. Um, Somebody asked, how can we make sure we choose the correct classes for everything we need for our college and major requirements?
I can take this one. Unless Rita, you want to take it? Okay, cool. Okay, I would just say the best course of action would be, looking at that plan site we showed you, but also definitely reaching out to your advisors, both college and major, to make sure at least for the first quarter you're set. And then once, like that week 4 came around, like Joe was talking about, kind of maybe sit with them and have a, maybe come up with a rough plan of what you can do for the next couple of years, make sure everything is good. Additionally, after your classes transfer over eventually, hopefully in the next couple of weeks here, depending on when you submit your transcripts, you'll see a degree audit in TSS, and you can see what classes you need, and that'll come up shortly. That's accessible in TSS as well. So once your classes transfer over from either community college or 4-year classes, you'll be able to see what classes you'll need to graduate for your major. So yeah.
Great, thank you.
I've been answering a lot of questions about minor and major. That's something that you can't do until the third week of your first quarter. And I dropped a link here in the chat, that will give you step-by-step directions on how to do so. Um, I don't want someone else's. I half answered this question, but now I'm realizing that there's an additional question added to it. So, can you all talk about how you joined clubs and how you learned about them?
Yes, I can start. So in week 0 and week 1, there's going to be a lot, and I mean a lot of campus clubs that are tabling. All the student orgs will be out in full force and they will be tabling. So there is a walkway called Library Walk that goes from the, why am I blanking on the name of the library? But there's a long walkway where all the different orgs from all different walks of life, like there's gaming organizations, there are specific organizations for majors, specific organizations for different nationalities, different religions, and they will all be tabling actively throughout those weeks, and you'll be able to walk up directly to interact with them. Or if you're me, they will walk up to you, interact with you to try to get you to come to things like bonfires or their general body meetings, which you can use in order to find community within them and also get more information about what they're about and what they offer.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, yeah, there's going to be bunches of people tabling on Geisel Library Walk that first week. Also on Ridge Walk as well, which is one of the main drags where a lot of colleges and classes are. You can definitely find stuff there. Another right way, so if you know if you don't something you like, there is a list of clubs lists like across the board here at UCSD. I'm putting it in the chat right now. Oh, thank you, Joe. Where you can just find everything there. You can filter by different categories and things like that. For me personally, I joined a student government involved in that, but our P coaches involve a lot of different clubs across campus. So we have a lot of different interests. But yeah, definitely check out that website and see anything you like. And after that, you can search them up on Instagram or other places as well.
Anybody else want to talk about clubs? There's another question, somewhat related, but it might be related. Where did you guys find most of your friends?
I'll answer it. I would say definitely from your classes. Yeah, that's like your main source, classes, your labs, and that's how you form a study group. I would get started on that, form your study groups and yeah, study groups, your friends. So, yeah, classes.
Yeah, Naranga has a good point. Like normally you'll be taking sequences of courses, and so a lot of times you'll be seeing the same people in multiple courses. I know for bio they did like they set up Discord servers as well, and then they would like set up study sessions too. So that's a way to meet new people. There's a lot of events that the Triton Transfer Hub runs on campus, so it just connects a bunch of different transfer students and you're just having fun and meeting new people that are similar in a similar situation. Jaden, do you mind muting yourself, please? Thank you. And so you'll have these transfer events where you can meet other people as well. There's an all-campus calendar where every single event going on at UCSD will be posted, so you can look that up. It can be like recreational or academic, so you can go to those things. And clubs are also a great way to meet people too.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, definitely like the first couple of weeks, all the colleges, places like your transfer hub, we host a lot of events where you can meet a lot of people, and definitely clubs is a great way. But look out, follow the all events calendar, like Joe mentioned. You can see everywhere where you can find free food and things like that, and events. So yeah.
Two kind of vocab words just bouncing off of this. Words you're going to start hearing quite a bit are week 0 and TWOW as we head into the fall quarter. So these are TWOW is Triton Weeks of Welcome, and that's in the first few weeks of the academic year. All the different departments throw a lot of socials. Today they announced the new student and faculty social. We do a giant transfer welcome the first day of classes that we usually have about 400 transfers come to and make a lot of friends there. And then week 0 is your first week of classes. So you'll start getting a lot of emails that mention these two things, and those are really intended to put on these socials and give you an opportunity to make connections and meet friends. So these are some of the events that you're talking about in those first weeks, but then people usually get closer to the year and people are like, what's week 0? What is TWOW? So some words to attach to those too.
All right, and then we are gonna end in about 4 minutes, and I know Tessa's behind the scenes answering some questions. We won't be able to get to all the questions. Maybe we can end with this last one, which is to my employed peer coaches, how easy is it to find on-campus jobs? And especially for pre-meds, how do you get lab jobs?
Yeah, I can start with that. So Handshake is going to be like have a bunch of different campus jobs. So with your UCSD email, you can sign up and make an account, and then you'll have access to all that stuff. Um, for research, there's a couple different places, and you can book an appointment with me or Narangu as well. Narangu is also in research, and Elizabeth. There's a bunch of different people. Elizabeth is our research and involvement and professional staff. So um, there are there's the Real portal, so a bunch of different opportunities get posted there. There's the undergraduate research hub that has a bunch of different programs, and then there's a bunch of internships that get posted on Handshake for research as well. And then cold emailing works as well. So please book appointment with any of us, and we can go a lot more in depth into those things.
To jump in after Joe, and if you want to strengthen your materials for applying to any of these things, whether it's internships or jobs on campus, you can use the Career Center. There's a free service for all students so that they can help you specifically on, hey, I want to make my resume better, or hey, I don't know how to write a cover letter and this job needs one. So how do I do that? They can help you with those materials. There are other different resource centers like Oasis and the Writing Lab, for example, that can help strengthen the way that you present yourself in these materials. And I think all of these resources are also going to be able to help you find jobs both on campus and off campus.
Yes, awesome. And right now, doing the research and involvement sessions or looking at the recordings will be helpful too for those lab positions that you're wondering about. That's going to be a good foundational start. All right. So, well, thank you all. Thank you for answering all the questions that we have. I think we are out of time. And so thank you, everybody. You can book an appointment with a peer coach if you do have very specific questions and scenarios that you would like to ask. They can walk you through it. And then you can also email us at traintransfers@ucc.edu. You can also respond to email newsletters too. That also goes straight to our inbox as well. So a couple of ways to still get connected, but this will not be the only time that you can ask us questions. All right, I will end it here and thank you so much, everybody. Have a good rest of your evening.